nights.
Wonderful, easy, new way to say goodbye to it. The Hair Off Facial Buffer. You'll gently buffer away hair in seconds.
Perfect.
The Hair Off Facial Buffer.
Hey. What's that?
Morning mix?
Chex Pieces, cranberries, raisins. You know, I had an idea to invent something like this.
Really? Was it as good as your idea for the remote control toaster?
Much better.
Well, this has fruits and nuts.
I had fruits and nuts, too. I had a different name, though. Dave's Good Stuff.
Introducing Morning Mix, a grab-and-go bag of crispy Chex cereal with sweet raisins, tangy cranberries, and almonds, all mixed together.
How long did it take you to think that one up?
New Morning Mix from Chex, breakfast to go.
Time for a vacuum that's one powerful sucker. This bagless, with wind tunnel technology only from Hoover, has twin air ducts that help pick up more dirt than any other bagless upright. The Hoover Wind Tunnel.
The Ice Bowl, 1967. Thousands watch their beloved Packers in sub-zero temperatures because sometimes it's more fun in the cold. Whether it's football, skiing, or travel, Weather.com helps you do the things important to you in any weather. Weather.com. Live by it.
Now, from the Weather Channel, here's your local forecast, always on the 8s of every hour. Currently, the temperature is 26 degrees with light snow. Forecast for your area. Expect fair skies Monday through Wednesday with temperatures in the 40s on Monday.
You're watching the Weather Channel. Live by it.
It's a snowy day in New York City. We're looking at some of the kids playing in Big Apple. We'll tell you how much snow New York will receive coming up.
The same system dumping some rain in the southeast. Atlanta, Birmingham, parts of the Carolinas have been seeing that rainfall. Will it last all weekend? We'll answer that question coming up. Hello and welcome to Weather Center. Sharon Resultant taking the night off. I'm Warren Madden along with Carl Parker.
Thanks for joining us. You're seeing some beautiful weather in Florida, and we've got light rain to talk about in Seattle, but today's biggest story is the snow in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. New York City could see 3 to 6 inches of snow before it's all over, and for a closer look, we go to Jeff Morrow, who is standing by in Columbus Circle. And Jeff, what do you think about tonight? If folks have Saturday night plans, should they keep them?
In the city, yeah, you could probably get around okay, particularly if you're taking the subway. But I don't know that I'd want to be driving around too much, because the farther you get away from the well-traveled streets, the worse it's going to be, because the snow is now starting to come down hard enough that it is starting to stick on some of the roadways, even the well-traveled ones. So it's getting a little slushy out there. So you might want to think about staying in. Or if you live in the city, you can walk about, and a lot of folks are doing just that, coming out and enjoying some of the snow, going into Central Park. And there's an ice skating rink not too far away from here, and I know a lot of folks have been walking by carrying skates. Let's switch camera shots here right now and show you a different perspective. Again, you can see some of the people that are out and about here in New York City. It doesn't seem to slow too many people down. I think we have about 1 inch to 1.5 inches on the ground so far, and this is probably about the steadiest we've seen the snow come down. And I think we're probably going to end up with about 4 to 6 inches worth. So that's the story here from New York City. Let's get back to you in the studio, Carl.
Thanks, Jeff. And now we turn to our winter weather expert, Paul Cosin. And Paul, this storm has really been a 1-2 punch, has it not?
Well, originally, Carl, that's right. We thought this was just going to be a one punch, but it turns out we had a very strong impulse come across the east this morning. That sort of petered out, but now we're seeing the system sort of get its act back together as another upper-level disturbance comes through and is going to produce actually a fairly long period of snowfall where we thought it was going to once come through relatively quickly. So it looks like New York City, we're still watching the snowfall coming together across portions of West Virginia and Pennsylvania. Most of the snowfall is light, but we are seeing some heavier bands of snow across northwestern Pennsylvania. But we're going to see those snow bands get more and more organized as the night goes on, and that will spread across southern New England, which is why generally between New York City and the area of Boston and south, we'll see a pretty steady 3 to 6 inches of snow, and locally we could still see additional snow falling over the Cape as well as Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. We're also seeing that the snow has mixed with sleet and rain in the Washington-Baltimore area, and as the lighter precipitation comes up, we could see that mixture continue, even change briefly back to snow. So generally south of Wilmington, Delaware, we could see an additional inch of snow. Philadelphia, we could see an additional 2 inches or so. Your snow just within the last hour has mixed with sleet, but most of the heavier snow now looks to be focused across portions of northern New Jersey, northeastern Pennsylvania, and as well as southern New England. That's why we're looking for 3 to 6 inches additional falling across portions of the New York City metropolitan area and southern New England. We'll have more detailed look at some of the radars out of those cities during the next segment. Carl?
Winter weather expert Paul Kosin, thanks very much. Let's go ahead and talk about what has happened thus far in some cities, and we start you off with snowfall totals from Virginia, 7 inches, Mountain Grove and also in Iron Gate. Huntington, West Virginia picking up 7 inches as well. Washington, D.C., 3 inches thus far. It is still coming down. And Dover with 2 inches. And there is the snowstorm history. And you can see the heavier amounts here in parts of West Virginia and Western Virginia. Of course, we will extend this farther north and eastward by the time it's all said and done. There again is the current picture. Notice, if you will, that we have rain farther southward. We've been seeing very heavy rain in some spots to the southeast today. That's good news. You really do need it in a lot of cases. The rain really coming down in parts of Alabama and North Georgia through this morning. And here's a look at some of the amounts. Almost 3 inches in Crossville, Tennessee, Tuscaloosa 1.88, Knoxville 1.75, and Atlanta a much needed 1.5 inches of rain. Still fairly heavy, as we can see in southeastern parts of Alabama, southern Georgia, northwest Florida, maybe even some thunder here, and the rain continues right on up into the Carolinas. Will be a very wet night in the Carolinas in southeastern Virginia. I want to take you now to the Midwest. Here's why.
As we head to the Midwest, well, things have really quieted down in the mid-Mississippi and Ohio valleys as that storm system's headed off to the east. Still a bit of snow, though, as we head up into the Great Lakes. Northwesterly flow. We've seen at times heavy snow around Pellston, Michigan, here in the northern part of lower Michigan. And overnight, both in the LP and the UP, we could pick up some more snow. It looks like the heaviest amounts, 3 to 6 inches from around Sault Ste. Marie back down south of Traverse City. As far as the forecast overall, we even see some snowflakes back through Minneapolis and Fargo, still on the mild side, though, with highs not too far from the freezing mark in the northern plains and upper Midwest. Here in the western U.S., we do have another system coming ashore here in the Pacific Northwest. Snow level's pretty low, down around 1,000 to 1,500 feet. Winter storm warnings up for the Olympics in the Central Cascades. And overnight, we could see a fair amount of rain west of the Cascades around Puget Sound. 6 to 12 inches of snow into the Washington Cascades, up a little higher, and that rain will continue right into the day on Sunday. Stay with us. We'll check your local forecast next.
So the bundt cake was bad.
The bundt cake was abysmal, but you're missing the point of the story. The entire staff has food poisoning, leaving packages to be shipped, deadlines to be met, and one sales manager to do it all.
Just one?
One.
You mean not the bundt cake?
He had the Danish. Stay with me. He jumps on FedEx.com. He's shipping, he's tracking, getting confirmations on his cell phone, his pagers, PDA.
He's got a PDA?
Everybody's got a PDA. Nevertheless, packages arrive, he triumphs over adversity.